Hello, my name is David, and today I'm going to share a story that completely redefined my life. It's about how in 3 months I lost everything I had, and how in the following 3 months I got it all back, and along the way sent the 2 people closest to me to federal prison. I'm not some Wall Street financial guru, I'm just a hard-working guy from Texas. 15 years ago, I founded MediTrust Pharmacies.
We started with one tiny drugstore, and by the time this story begins, I had a successful chain of 12 locations bringing in steady revenue. This wasn't just a business, it was my legacy, the result of countless sleepless nights. I was proud to employ hundreds of people and proud that my chain never dealt in counterfeits or shady schemes. Honesty was the very foundation of MediTrust.
My wife, Olivia, was part of this story from day one. She was my wife, my partner, and most importantly, our Chief Financial Officer, CFO. I handled logistics and operations, but when it came to numbers and bank wires, I relied entirely on her. She was the only person with complete access to all our accounts, tax reports, and legal documents. Her younger sister, Irina, also held a crucial position. She managed our main distribution center and was responsible for all procurement. I trusted these 2 women more than I trusted myself. I built the entire company based on complete family trust, and that proved to be my greatest vulnerability.
Olivia started changing about a year ago. She became distant, nervous, and irritable. She constantly talked about being tired of Texas and needing more excitement. She began hiding her phone. I was blind, I was foolish, and I didn't see that my business was already compromised. She developed a plan to destroy me and everything we built to secure a new, luxurious life with a young lover. Infidelity is personal betrayal. What they planned was financial assassination, and it was far colder and crueler.
I started noticing small, strange things. My daily profit reports were beginning to sag. It wasn't a sudden drop. It was a slow, unexplained depletion of resources. When I questioned Olivia, she'd irritably dismiss me, saying tax write-offs increased. My businessman's gut, which built this network, wouldn't leave me alone. I decided to conduct an unannounced inventory audit at the main distribution center managed by Irina. That's where I first faced the truth.
The warehouse was crammed with boxes labeled miscellaneous supplies, but those boxes were incredibly heavy, and documentation showed we had 50 times our actual need. When I cut open one, I didn't see paper and pens. I saw thousands of packages of unmarked, cheap, uncertified pharmaceuticals.
Irina saw me open the box, went pale, and ran out of the center. I realized this wasn't just theft. This was a sophisticated criminal plot. Olivia was using our MediTrust network for a double strike. One, the black market. Irina managed the secret distribution of illegal drugs through our system, generating massive hidden cash flow. 2, the legal drain. Olivia. As CFO, Olivia funneled huge amounts through Delaware shell companies. She structured sales of our legitimate stock to these entities at artificially low prices. These funds were then wired out of the U.S. to offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands registered under her lover's name, the Trainer. The total amount they successfully diverted was $5 million.
The worst part wasn't the theft. It was that they were trying to frame me. When the scheme collapsed, I, as the owner, would be held responsible for the illegal drugs and the massive tax evasion. I'd be in federal prison while they lived off my money. I couldn't call the police yet. If I acted emotionally, Olivia, as our CFO, could wipe out all digital tracks in an hour. I needed a plan.
I had to move faster than Olivia.
My first action was to use my corporate authority to lock Olivia out of all external bank accounts and halt any large transfers. I created a cover story about a sudden FBI audit to explain her removal from financial duties. Then I contacted Mark, a former Austin police detective who ran a discreet corporate espionage agency. I gave him a 1-week deadline.
I was focused on the stolen millions, but Mark focused on their greed and laziness. Olivia and Irina were certain their offshore scheme was flawless. They wired money through shell companies registered in Delaware. In the US, companies must file a tax return. Mark discovered that these shell corporations, created by Olivia, had filed 0 tax reports with the IRS. Not a single one.
This was their fatal mistake. The theft wasn't our main leverage. Willful federal tax evasion was. Tax evasion brings in the FBI and the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. They don't ask who betrayed whom, they ask where is our money.
6 days later, Mark gave me a flash drive containing proof that Jake held the offshore accounts, recordings of Irina, and the critical legal proof. Olivia's Delaware companies were tax delinquent. I had an irrefutable federal conviction. I was no longer the victim. I was the accuser.
I needed justice to be swift and definitive. My lawyer arranged a meeting with the U.S. Attorney and the IRS CID. My dossier was perfect. The tax agents focused on the federal crimes: tax evasion, money laundering, and conspiracy. We handed over all the evidence, including the link to the offshore accounts held by Jake. It was an undeniable smoking gun, linking all 3 figures. The operation was planned as a single, coordinated strike.
2 days later, 7 a.m., I arrived at the MediTrust office. Olivia and Irina were already in the conference room, totally secure in their scheme. The doors burst open. FBI and IRS CID agents walked in. Olivia and Irina, you are under arrest for suspicion of wire fraud, money laundering, and willful tax evasion. They were handcuffed instantly.
Jake, the lover, was arrested at the same hour at Olivia's house. He was stunned when agents showed him the warrant. His young, carefree life ended before it even began. Olivia, livid, turned to me. Her face was contorted in horror, but I just gave her a cold stare. I received 1 call from Olivia from jail before her bail hearing. She didn't apologize.
Olivia, this is a mistake. You can't do this. I'm your wife. No, Olivia, you're my CFO who stole $5 million and used my business for fraud. You made your choice. I chose justice.
The trial was brief. The evidence was overwhelming. Olivia received 12 years in federal prison. Irina received 8 years for conspiracy. Jake, the lover, received 5 years for his role as the offshore nominee and co-conspirator. Their greed cost them their freedom. The court also ordered them to pay full restitution, which allowed MediTrust to fully recover.
It has been 1.5 years since Olivia and Irina went to prison. The recovery process was long and tough. We went through exhausting audits and tax reviews, but because I proactively turned the criminals over to the authorities, MediTrust Pharmacies was recognized as a victim of fraud and fully restored its good name. I sold our old house.
With the $5 million recovered through the courts, I was able to expand the chain by 3 more pharmacies. I now work with a new CFO, a professional I trust purely based on his qualifications, not on family ties. My biggest lesson is that professionalism must always supersede personal relationships, especially when dealing with business and large sums of money.
They lost everything. Not just the money they didn't get to spend, but their freedom, reputation, and future. They had everything, a thriving business and a comfortable life. But they chose greed and crime. I don't feel joy over their sentence, but I feel deep satisfaction that justice prevailed.
not as revenge, but as the inevitable consequence of their choices. My story is a reminder that numbers never lie, and greed always leaves a trail.
So, how would you have handled this? Would you have gone straight to the police? Or would you have gathered evidence first to guarantee they couldn't escape? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this story about how cold calculation defeated blind trust, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button so you don't miss other true stories of payback and justice.